The Central California lake that returned to this size right here for the first time in 40 years. You'll see Tulare Lake is back.
For the first time in 40 years, a lake that modern California erased has returned to this exact size. What you're looking at right now shouldn't exist, and yet it does. On March 14th, 2023, satellite imagery from NASA's Landsat 9 revealed something hydrologists once believed was impossible in modern California. A lake that had officially vanished had come back. Tulare Lake, once the largest freshwater lake west of the Mississippi River, had been deliberately drained and converted into farmland. More than a century ago, it was erased from maps, history books, and public memory. But in just 8 weeks, water flooded more than 94,000 acres of some of the most productive agricultural land on Earth. Orchards vanished, vineyards drowned. Dairy operations worth billions of dollars disappeared beneath a body of water that modern maps insisted did not belong there. But what makes this event truly unprecedented isn't that Tulare Lake returned, it's that it keeps coming back. This wasn't the first resurrection. The lake reformed in 1983, flooding nearly 180 square miles. It returned again in 1997. But in 2023, it came back larger than ever before. Climate models now suggest the intervals between these returns are shrinking. What once took decades may soon take only years. And that raises a disturbing question. Was Tulare Lake ever truly gone? Or was California only pretending it was dealing with a lake that never forgot how to be a lake? To understand why Tulare Lake keeps returning, you first have to understand what it was. Before European contact, Tulare Lake was an inland freshwater sea in the heart of California. During wet cycles, it covered nearly 800 square miles, larger than Utah's Great Salt Lake in some years. It formed in a closed basin, a natural depression with no outlet to the ocean. 4 major rivers, the Kings, Kaweah, Tule, and Kern, flowed down from the Sierra Nevada and emptied directly into this basin. During heavy snowmelt years, the lake expanded dramatically. During droughts, it shrank, sometimes nearly disappearing. But the basin never went away. Water always returned. For thousands of years, the indigenous Yakuts people built their lives around this rhythm. They understood the lake was seasonal, unpredictable, and powerful. Their settlements, food systems, and movement patterns adapted to the rise and fall of water. The system worked because it respected geography. Then agriculture arrived, and the lake became an obstacle to profit. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, engineers saw opportunity where others saw water. The lakebed soil was extraordinarily fertile, enriched by centuries of river sediment. The land was flat, ideal for mechanized farming. The only problem was the lake itself. So it was removed, rivers were diverted, canals were carved, levees were built. Water that once flowed naturally into the basin was redirected north and south into irrigation networks and groundwater systems. By the 1920s, Tulare Lake had effectively vanished. The lakebed was divided, sold, and transformed into farmland. Cotton, wheat, alfalfa, tomatoes, almonds, and pistachios replaced open water. Billions of dollars flowed from land that had been underwater for millennia. Official maps confirmed the victory. The lake was gone, or so it seemed. For decades, the system appeared to work. Tulare Lake existed only in history books. Then came the warnings. In 1969, a wet year caused water to pool in the old lakebed. Farmers pumped it out, and the crisis passed. In 1983, California experienced one of the wettest winters in recorded history, and Tulare Lake returned. Satellite imagery captured a massive blue expanse where farmland had existed months earlier. The lake covered roughly 180 square miles, destroying crops, damaging infrastructure, and persisting for nearly 2 years. Losses exceeded $400 million at the time, well over $1 billion today. But the event was dismissed as a once-in-a-century anomaly. 14 years later, in 1997, the lake returned again, smaller, but still devastating. The pattern was becoming harder to ignore. After 1997, 2 competing visions emerged. One called for more engineering, bigger pumps, higher levees, faster drainage. The other warned that the lakebed was a floodplain pretending to be farmland. Engineering won. Billions were invested. Massive pumping systems capable of moving hundreds of thousands of gallons per minute were installed. Flood control channels were expanded. For 26 years, the system held. Until it didn't. The winter of 2022 to 2023 shattered the illusion. Storm after storm slammed into California. Atmospheric rivers, corridors of concentrated water vapor, pounded the Sierra Nevada. 9 major systems arrived in less than 3 months. By spring, snowpack exceeded 230% of normal, one of the deepest ever recorded. Then the melt began. Rivers surged toward record flows, dumping enormous volumes of water into a closed basin with nowhere to drain. Pumping systems were overwhelmed. By mid-March 2023, satellites confirmed what people on the ground already knew. Tulare Lake had returned, stronger than infrastructure. Over 8 weeks, the lake expanded beyond 94,000 acres, nearly 150 square miles. In some areas, water reached several meters deep. Orchards died. Almond and pistachio trees, representing years of investment, could not survive prolonged flooding. Dairy operations evacuated thousands of cattle. Equipment was lost. Soil structure collapsed. Direct agricultural losses were estimated between $1.5 and $2 billion. Indirect losses, from insurance claims, infrastructure damage, and collapsing land values, likely doubled that figure. At peak operation, pumps removed nearly 500,000 gallons per minute. Still, the lake grew. It wasn't until summer, when snowmelt ended, that water levels slowly began to fall. The lake lingered because it had no natural way to leave. The cost of pretending became impossible to ignore. The 2023 event exposed a hard truth. Tulare Lake is not an anomaly. It is the natural state of the basin during wet cycles. Agriculture exists there in defiance of geography. Insurance companies have begun pulling out. Premiums have surged. Banks hesitate to finance land that floods every 15 to 25 years. Infrastructure built for permanent farming becomes a liability when water returns. Roads flood, electrical systems fail, wells corrode. Entire communities live with constant uncertainty. And beneath it all, the basin remains unchanged. After 2023, the debate intensified. One side demands even more engineering, billions more in pumps, canals, and diversions modeled after places like the Netherlands. The other argues that fighting a lake in a warming climate is futile. They call for managed retreat, restoring parts of the basin as seasonal wetlands, using it as floodwater storage, transitioning away from permanent crops, accepting that some land was never meant to stay dry. Both paths carry staggering costs. Neither offers an easy answer. As of early 2026, Tulare Lake has drained again. Fields are dry, crops are planted, pumps continue running. But meteorologists are watching closely. Snowpack is above average. Storm patterns are shifting. Climate models project more extreme swings between drought and deluge. The depression that created Tulare Lake is still there, lower than the surrounding land, waiting. The rivers still flow toward it. Gravity still pulls water downward. No amount of farming erases geography. Tulare Lake keeps returning not because engineering failed, but because it was never capable of succeeding. We didn't destroy the lake, we only put it to sleep. And each time it wakes up, it costs more than the last. The question is no longer whether the lake will return. It's how long we can afford to pretend it won't. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next.